was Cross.
And Dex.
And we watched the last 2 episodes of the season.
And they were really good. I wholeheartedly believe that season 9 is now tied for my favorite season. So
yeah, I would say that too.
It is so good. Everything was good. The pacing was good. The new characters, the new setting, everything was really, really good. The story, I could just gush if.
And there's now many more playsets I would like to buy.
I want to buy all the dragons.
Yep.
I want the lightning dragon the most because I'm a sucker for noodle boys. But
Fire and Firstborn.
And Firstborn, who's probably going to be really expensive.
Probably. But the fire is like a littler version of her, so it's like perfect.
I like the Ice Boy too. Ice Boy's cute. I like Slab too. I would if I had money. If I get
maybe together we would have them all.
My student loan. And I use my student loan the way my classmates are using their loans to buy fucking Yuri on Ice.
It's not even a joke. It's like, whenever I hear that, I'm like, wow, really, guys?
Yeah. You have to. But, like, goddamn, was this season good.
Yes.
Like, top notch. And considering it was only 10 episodes, they were able to...
So, we should talk about these 2 episodes before we summarize the whole season.
So, in the remaining 2 episodes, we see... This is like going to be a rapid fire summary.
We see a lot of stuff.
We see a lot of stuff happen. So, we see Wu and Iron Baron get to the Firstborn's nest.
Oh, yes.
She is with all the dragons.
Before getting there, there was a moment of, will he let him fall to his probable death?
Yeah, well, Wu's
but no, of course he didn't.
He's a good guy.
Yes. But we do find out that he learns how to be deceptive and lie.
Yeah, from Iron Baron.
Yes,
so
because Iron Baron assumed the armor allowed him to control Firstborn. And Wu was kind of like, yeah, sure, bud.
Yeah, that's definitely...
Yeah,
actually, at no point does he say that.
No, but he doesn't disagree either.
Which is much more in Wu's style, where its omission is still a lie, but it's not technically a lie.
So they get there, and all the dragons are being adorable and, like, piling on each other, sleeping. And they see the armor.
The armor, and then they go up to get it, and Iron Baron goes up and puts it on, and Firstborn, like, appears, and she's all like...
She's amazing
She's
looking.
Huge. And he's like, oh, you have to listen to me. And then Wu's like, oh, you really think it was the armor that made Firstborn listen to my father? No, it was because of their bond. And she saw goodness in him. What did she see in you?
Yeah.
And then she
like, molten rocks him.
She straight up murders him on camera, which is like the 3rd character this season that we see die on camera, on screen.
Well done. Well done, Ninjago.
That's good. So Wu gets the armor, puts it on, flies out of the nest with Firstborn.
She's adorable. She like bows to him. It's like, yeah.
And he lands, and the ninja come up and they hug him.
And they're so happy.
It's so cute. Because I was like, hug. Because if you compare it to
Cole got the biggest part of that
Cole's
hug.
dad. But if you can remember way back in season 1, after the Great Devourer died, and they got Wu back after it had eaten him. Okay. They kind of ran up to him and they're like, yeah, you're okay. But this one was a lot more heartfelt, so you can see that over time that bond was built much stronger between them.
Fucking go away!
This one massive fly.
I know, I hate him.
So that was nice. And then they had this moment where they were like, they bowed to him, and then he goes, no, my friends, I should bow to you.
And then he bowed to them.
And they were all really happy.
Yeah, and then they were like, let's go home. And of course, they couldn't all go on this huge...
No, Firstborn had to get their own dragon.
So she called over the exact number and the exact element of all of them.
Because toy sales... Which I can accept. They also did use the dragons the other round.
And so, of course, there was the really thick earth dragon.
Slab.
The really tiny in comparison to all the rest.
Noodle boy.
Yes, for electric. And
ice dragon's really cool.
Yeah,
it's like
it was all spiky and like
gray, but then it's got the
glowy
ice bits coming out of it.
And obviously fire that looked the most like Firstborn and was sleek and big wings and beautiful.
So they were cute. So they flew the dragons back,
and as they went back, they did a little spinny
they
thing
kept the
to make it
continuity
portable.
of the spin from what we saw way back in the beginning of the series. That was good.
Oh, and Faith decided to not go with them after it was offered, so the promise was kept. But she was like, "No, I'll stay here."
I'm sure they're going to help in season 10 for what we end up having alluded to when we get to that.
Definitely.
But I fully support her, like, co-running the hunters with her, like, lesbian girlfriend now.
Yeah, it really seems like it. Like, I could understand why that's all over the internet now, because it was not, like, subtle at all.
It was cute.
It was cute.
So they get back, and it's just in time because we saw Lloyd,
Smashy
Gareth,
smash.
and Mia trying to get away with Dragon Skylar, and they pass Ultraviolet, who is on the phone. And the fucking funniest scene.
It was like, I don't know, they threw me like
8 or 9
blocks.
Like,
and like, that hurt. And then she like sees them, and they like just see her and then like turn and keep trying to go, and then she's like, hell no. She goes after them, and
that was so funny. This is on the phone, and it's just like, can you come get me? I don't know, he threw me like 8 or 9 blocks.
Yeah, it hurt.
Like, that was great. So then we got to see Nia have a really cool fight.
Yeah.
With Ultraviolet, where I really liked this one sequence where Nia was in her tornado,
and
she smacked her with
got smacked and like impacted, all the water droplets fell and flew, and it was beautiful.
Yeah,
but
it was
I was
really
also
nice.
upset because she got hit.
But it's okay, because a car can fall on Nia, and then she's just like, my shoulder feels kind of funny.
Yeah.
Because she's Nia.
And they did a hit but not a run with the vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
And Ultraviolet went into a wall, and that broke her mask.
Broke. So there is technically only the one mask that's still. So I'm curious if it'll come into play in the next season.
Most likely, as the other ones were clearly shown to have broke. But we don't know where it is.
The one that's still...
The one they have, I thought, was...
Deception?
The one that...
It was the red one that Mr. E wore. That they originally got out of there.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think that's Deception, Mask of Deception.
Probably.
I think. Don't quote me, I can't remember off the top of my head, and I'm really tired, but... That was cool. So it's still around.
Yeah.
So that could be found at any time and used.
So what was after that?
There was a lot. So this major fight scene goes down.
Oh, so once they arrive, they're like, we have to take out the giant. So they use the dragons and the chains, and Kai jumps on over and fuses things together.
Oh, the chains aren't working, and
they're not thick enough. Or
which one of us is stupid enough to jump down there? And Kai's just like, hold my beer, right? Like, literally, immediately he's like, it's my time to fucking shine.
Yeah.
And in fairness, he was the best choice since he could fuse the
like melt them down and actually
fuse it together. Mm-hmm. So we saw them doing that, and while they were doing that, Wu and Lloyd went to fight Garmadon on the top of the tower.
Yes.
And during that fight, Wu and Firstborn get knocked away.
In like this explosion.
So you see it leaves just Lloyd and Garmadon fighting.
But Firstborn catches him in the air and like hugs him as she hits the ground, which made me upset.
But she was okay.
Yeah, she's okay.
And then they go and help with the golem, and eventually together with all the people that escaped Cryptarium.
Yeah, all the like townspeople and
the other elemental masters came and helped. So
and then they knock it down. And
then
are able to keep it down.
Yeah, and we see the fight.
And then
with Lloyd and Garmadon, which was really good. That was a good fight.
Yes, and Lloyd figures out that by not actually fighting, Garmadon will lose his powers.
Which makes sense.
It does.
It's destruction, so he needs to actively be doing destructive things.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting.
And then he, in this like beautiful glowy green like galaxy thing, when we see the stars and swirls, it was wonderful. He got his powers back, and his eyes are back to green.
And they arrest everyone, and in this process, Garmadon tells him, I was the only thing stopping them from coming.
So we're absolutely sure it's the Oni.
It has to be the Oni, and because he said they were just darkness, and he was afraid of them.
Yeah.
So him fighting one Oni with Mistake was fine, but I'm guessing fighting many Oni.
Oh, definitely not fine.
Not good. And they can shapeshift, which leads to so many possibilities with how they could easily infiltrate and break apart.
Yep.
And their destruction. They're just the embodiment of it. So we're going to likely see some crazy shit go down in Season 10. And I'm kind of curious if the story will stretch beyond to Season 10.
Yeah, and also the dragons couldn't stay. They had to go back. And
the whole thing ends with Lloyd and Wu talking and Lloyd going like, they're coming. And then it ends. And from what I understand, we actually won't get a new season until 2019. Which kind of makes sense if it comes back in February. January, February is when Season 8 originally aired.
Okay.
And
this one
they did give us 2 seasons really close together.
Yeah. So it might actually be later because what we got was not.
No, what we got, we didn't get nothing. But it aired for like North America. Did start airing in like January, February. So it should for Season 8 should theoretically still air for us around the same time. But as we're recording this, the San Diego Comic-Con's going on, so there might be more revealed. I know that Tony Andreessen was talking about things to be revealed at their panel regarding upcoming stuff. So there was a new symbol they showed, which was like a yin-yang with 2 dragons holding pearls in their mouths.
Ooh.
But it also, for some reason, had Nia's water symbol and Jay's lightning symbol on it. So this is just me going like, oh, for the love of God, please don't have another Jay of
that was another
season.
thing. At the end, the people wanted to celebrate.
Oh yeah, that was
and
cute.
They all paired up, and Cole was like, "What's this?" And then he saw cake, so he had his pair too.
The best thing though was when Zane and Pixel went for, because you were like, "Oh, that's so cute." They
went for a hug because they were so happy to see, and then when they touched, they went tink.
And I was like, "Thank you for that." I liked that Kai and Skylar wasn't overly...
Yes, but it was still a thing.
It was still a thing. They still had feelings.
Yeah, when he saw her in the still poisoned state, he was like, oh my god, what happened to her? And he was like having her lean on him. But I like that they're not like taking it and fisting it down your throat. And when Garmadon's power like went away and subsided, that's when her poison state ended. Yeah. So, and that's also when the golem just became rock.
So it was pretty good. But I liked that for the majority of it, we didn't get too much of the relationship stuff crammed down because it was a lot better when it doesn't focus on relationships.
Yeah, and it's kind of just, it was cute when they paired up, but some of them, like, I agree with what Dex said during the episode where Jay and Nia is not really...
They don't have chemistry.
Not really.
And I get that a lot of people like the pairing.
Like, it is cute.
It's cute, but as pairings go...
Zane and Pixel are so much better, in my mind.
And there is something.
And actually, Kai and Skylar is better, too. Because
they're actually taking time to let them, like...
Yeah.
Have something to connect over, whereas it was kind of a rocky start to... Jay and Nia, and then it just kind of seemed like they felt contractually obligated to maintain the relationship rather than develop it.
Yeah, and when Nia was like, but my boyfriend's gone too, I'm like, she has a boyfriend? What?
Yeah, like, it's so underaddressed, which I don't mind, because I don't think it should be.
It's fine, but I was still like, when was that established?
And it's also just not necessary. Like, honestly... If it's not going to be addressed enough for people to remember it's there, there's no reason for it to remain there. So it can just pop back up arbitrarily when it suits the, like...
But narrative. So it's done, and we're pretty sure we know what's gonna at least...
Oh, yeah, it's definitely Oni. It's 100% the Oni, because they actually, I think, in a very good, subtle way, hinted that the Oni weren't in the first realm. The Oni left the first realm to do something.
And they're probably
just
where
not around.
He was sent.
So they're probably somewhere in the realm of the departed or something.
Yeah, probably.
Which is interesting, because I actually genuinely like how subtle they hinted at, we don't know where the Oni are. Yeah. So there was at no point where you're like, oh yeah, okay, so I wonder where they are, because you were just like, oh yeah, they're not here, and it's, oh yeah, they're not here, and it was done in such a good organic way. Like, the writing in the season was phenomenal.
Yes, And the visuals as well.
Visuals were good. The humor was really good. And there was a lot of really nice character moments. I liked that it developed a lot more of the relationship between Wu and the ninja. So we saw him learn from them. And then the whole sequences with him were always good.
Mentioning him learning, what was it? Laughter, confidence.
He learned confidence, honesty, and there was like an integrity or something of that kind. He learned at least one thing from each of them. Yeah, which was nice. It was a nice touch, and I liked the bits when he was still a little younger, and you saw like when they were laughing at Tied Up, and he's like, "How can you laugh right now?"
Yes, and then but that's not these last 2 episodes.
No, but I do like that he was like, "Oh, I get what you're saying," and he's like, "You are the annoying one, Jay." And then he's like, "Did I do it right? A joke?" And they're like, "Yeah, buddy." Yeah. So.
But yeah, so
hopefully we can see Wu continue to have more of that fun personality.
Well, he's back to being old, so I don't know.
But he could still retain it.
Maybe. So now that this is over, what will we do?
Well, TFAB is going to start Legends of Chima.
Yes.
I want to try to keep up with some Lego-based things. Because I do, not with a show, just other Lego like, we've got a bunch of sets to build now.
No, that's irrelevant. I'm talking shows. I guess we'll think about it or have like a vote or something.
Maybe, try to... Because there are a lot of shows that we like to watch, and the problem with this style of filming is that we don't live together.
Yes.
And we have potential plans for the future, maybe, possibly.
Potentially, yeah.
Which would make it a lot easier, but because we don't, it's hard to watch episodically and then have to record. Yeah. The way we've had to do it with this, just because of how rapidly it came out, which in a way also kind of helped, because we only had to give up a couple weekends. Yeah. Rather than, 10.
Because we did a few each weekend rather than, one a week.
Yeah. So it kind of comes down to what's easy to watch where we can get together. So we might
it might be something older then.
It might be something older, or we might not do it completely episodically. Like we might watch 3 episodes, talk about those 3 episodes. We'll figure it out. Yeah. There are quite a few shows I would like to try doing it with. There are shows that are coming up that I think we can eventually try that we might like.
It is a bit older, but I think Hollow would be kind of fun.
We could do that potentially.
Because there would be a lot of like things we could guess and see.
The problem with that is that we want to get these out relatively soon after that episode comes out.
Well, not necessarily.
Ideally, we'd like to. So if we do,
I still
want
to do DuckTales.
We could do DuckTales still. If we do end up doing it, it might be for a show that's new or currently airing.
Possibly.
When I think
it's one or the other. It's either something old
because we also want to cover more Disney too. So we could do it. We could do the Owl House when it starts airing.
The hell is that?
That was the one I showed you where there was the little guy that was a king, but he got turned into the little demon with the skull. And there's a witch.
Oh, yeah.
The one I'm actually really excited for because it looks good. That could be something fun because that's a kind of genre we both like.
I guess we'll see. So, yeah. Bye.
Bye.